before specifically I talk about the NYU 2031 development, I just want to say that I stood up and opposed and testified at the City Council against the Rudin Development Plan. I stood up and opposed the Chelsea Market expansion plan. At the time it was going on, yet it did not take a position on Chelsea Market publicly. I stood up and I opposed the NYU redevelopment plan. I have been opposed to large-scale developments in our community that haven't made sense, and I've done it over and over again for 8 years on the community board. I have fought for more affordable housing on the west side. Community Board 4 has created over 10,000 new units of real affordable housing. Now, there has been an insinuation tonight that I am part of the real estate industry. Let me clear this up, because something was handed out, and there are rumors being spread that are not true. I want to tell you exactly who I am and what I am. I grew up in public housing. My dad was a truck driver, a teamster. We had health insurance because of it. My mom was my lunch lady, worked at a homeless shelter, and I cleaned houses on the weekend with her to make sure that my family had money for groceries. So an insinuation tonight that I am bought and paid for by the real estate industry, like, strikes to my heart. God bless my father, he died last year at 57 years old. He would be rolling over in his grave if he thought that there were accusations against me. I worked at the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, a nonprofit. I worked at the Retail Wholesale Department Store Worker Union, fighting for low-wage workers. I worked at the Democratic National Committee. I had a daily radio show on Sirius Satellite Radio on LGBT issues. And let me tell you what I did in the real estate industry, so everyone knows, and it's up front, and smear pieces can't be handed out anymore, which my opponent's campaign has been doing tonight. Let me be very clear. Let me be very clear. Let me be very clear. Let me be very clear.
As a citizen,
Let me be very.
that is not true.
Yes, it
Mr.
is.
Johnson, I am not the campaign. I had to bring it.
Okay, sir, please sit down.
Let me just finish, Gary.
Please sit down.
We're chairman, so be careful. Let me just finish.
Industry.
I don't want to hear anybody else.
Let me just finish. Let me finish my thought, and then I'll be done. Let me finish. This is what I did. There was a hotel built at 29th Street and Broadway called the Ace Hotel. I went and worked for a company that built that hotel after the hotel was built. And why did they hire me? They hired me to make sure that the hotel was respectful to the neighbors in the area, to make sure they worked with the residents, with the police, with the sanitation department, that they weren't too loud and noisy, and that they didn't do things that would be bad for the community. It has been insinuated through this hit piece that was written about me that I was somehow involved in getting tenants evicted from their apartments. I live in a 300 square foot studio apartment that I've lived in for 11 years. My rent just doubled 6 months ago. I have never made more than $79,000 in the 12 years I've lived in New York.
You should have gone to work for NYU.
They wouldn't hire me, I opposed their development because I'm not in the real estate industry's pocket. And one last thing, just to be fully transparent on it. One last thing to be fully transparent on it. The same company that built that hotel at 29th and Broadway, they were going to do a residential building in Fort Greene in Brooklyn on a formerly manufactured lot. They asked me to come in and work with the local community board in Fort Greene and the local council member to make sure that there was an affordable housing component to that building. When we started off, before I came in, they were going to do 20% affordable housing. When the rezoning was over, I got them up to 26% affordable housing, and they maximized the number of 2 bedrooms for people in the community that needed affordable housing. So if people want to try to smear me as working for the real estate industry, I stood up on Chelsea Market, I stood up on St. Vincent's, I stood up on NYU, and I have fought for affordable housing. It's unfair. I want to run a campaign based on the issues, not lies.
I just want to respond. Come on. My opponent just stood up and attacked me.